What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Monday. Hope you are well. Apologies, slightly late. I'd planned to do the show at 1:30. I was in traffic, got back, so I had to push the show back, 15 minutes so. But we're here. Hope everyone's well on this Monday. Another week. The transfer window actually closes tomorrow for a week and then reopens again in another week. This was that sort of early window that they open for the Club World Cup to enable people to bring players in for that. So unless we sign someone between now and tomorrow evening, we won't have a new player at the club until another week's time. So, but obviously we can still do business. It's just they can't officially announce them. Hope everyone's well on this Monday, and I really enjoyed that game last night, man. As I've said many times, man, it's I'm a very relaxed person. I love watching football, but it's like sometimes when you watch your own team, you get so stressed out and you get caught up in it, man. So I'm kind of enjoying the break, and I'm just hoping by time Arsenal come back that there's new players that we can, new players always bring new excitement and new hope and blah blah blah. So yeah, man, looking forward to seeing what next season brings. I've got to be honest, I'm going to hold my hands up on something. See, I am mature enough to say when I might have got it wrong. Yesterday, they won the Nations League, Portugal. I was a little bit critical of Ronaldo. I thought his reaction was a bit theatrical. I said, look, crying over the Nations League, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? When I came to think of it, football is an emotional game. You know, he's 40 years of age. He's one of the greatest players of all time. Apparently hasn't won a trophy for a number of years. You know what, man? Shed them tears if you have to. Tears of joy. It's CR7. You can do what you want. See? You do what you want, man. And you know what? There's a big rivalry between Portugal and Spain, so I get it. It's a lot. It's a lot deeper than we see. And then I think when you look at, Portugal were not winning trophies for a long time. So it meant a lot. But, it just felt predictable. Neymar was another player like that as well, that I always thought he's going to cry at the end of the final. But Ronaldo, listen, 40 years of age, scored last night as well. I don't think he actually played that well, but I think he's there to hit the back of the net at the end of the day. And listen, fair enough. I don't know, it just felt like the tears weren't natural. It looked like he was squeezing his eyes together, like, come on, get these tears out. But no, it's Ronaldo. You're one of the GOATs. Big up yourself. He scored, they won. Keep it moving, and big up to him. There's a couple other players from that game that I want to talk about, actually. I don't know about anybody else, and I'm not getting caught up in what I saw yesterday, by the way, because I've said for a long time I would take this guy at Arsenal, right? But Rafa Leao yesterday. I know some people, because there was a lot of people in the comments. There was a few people in the comments saying, I support AC Milan, he's inconsistent. Some people saying, I'm Portuguese, he doesn't work hard defensively. I would take Rafa Leao at Arsenal. I'm sorry, I would. I know some people might say defensively or he's inconsistent. He's a menace. He is a menace. And I think he can go to a different level in the Premier League. I think he can go to a different level. I know in Serie A, it's a lot more defensive. AC Milan haven't even qualified for Europe this season. I think Leao is a beast. I do. I think he's better than Nico Williams. Not everybody agrees. A lot of people don't rate him. I'm a fan of him. I would take him. And the thing what's crazy is they're quoting 70 million euros, which, AC Milan haven't made Europe. They need money. Apparently, he's got a 100 million euro release clause, but Milan are asking for 70 million euros, which is about 59 million pounds. People, seriously, yeah. Are you telling me you wouldn't pay 59 million pound for Rafa Leao? Oh, I would take him all day long. The only thing I would say, in the Arteta system, would it work? He's very much a free spirit. Defensively, maybe doesn't work that hard. Is Arteta going to put up with a player like him? But I think maybe Arteta needs to drift away from that sort of style a little bit and give these attacking players a little bit more freedom to get forward and try and score goals. So I think systems have to be adapted sometimes. We spoke about this yesterday with Pep bringing in players like Cherky who are not typical Pep Guardiola players. It shows that he's adaptable, and that's something that I think that maybe Arteta needs to do moving forward. So we'll see. I'm a big fan of Leao. Leao and Rodrigo are the two left wingers that I'd definitely be looking at. Alex said, AC Milan fan here. I wish we sell Leao to you. Bro, I'm telling you, I'll take him. Strange things can happen in football sometimes, right? And I know I'm using a wild comparison here, but when Thierry left Juventus, a lot of Juventus fans were saying, don't mind, not that good, quick, not enough end product. He turns out to be the greatest player I've ever seen play for Arsenal. Now, I'm not for 1 second saying that Leao reaches those levels, but I'm saying there are circumstances where a club will say, oh, get rid of him. And he goes to a club and he turns into a monster. And we've seen it happen multiple times in football. Rodrigo, Rafa Leao, for me, they're the two that I would go for. But we'll see. I don't see us going for him, but 70 million euros, 59 million quid, I'd be all over that personally. You can see the headline of today's show. I haven't gone straight for that as the first discussion point because I kind of, sometimes you got a game coming up, you have to start jogging, you have to warm up, you got to fling the shoulders. When LeBron hits dunks on someone, you just do that celebration, like, yo, come off of me, man, come off of me. Too strong for you. Like, I always say, people, I'm only the person reporting the news. Don't blame me. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying what is out there for the day. Happy Monday. Make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you're in a comfy chair. Get yourself a drink. Relax. And prepare yourself for the story. I hope this one really doesn't happen. Alex said, don't say I didn't warn you when it comes to Leao. I'll take him, bro. 59 million, bring him to the carpet. The smiling assassin, they call him. And Richard said, big up C Unit. I'm feeling more grounded today. I love it. Richard was in the watch-along yesterday saying Kevin De Bruyne is the GOAT of the Premier League. But by the end of the show, he'd changed his mind, which felt like a real positive because we were shell-shocked. I do rate Kevin De Bruyne, by the way, but GOAT of the Prem, I just couldn't understand that. But no, listen, big up yourself, Richard, man. What do you see in Leao? Vic, do you know what it is for me? He's very tall for a winger, right? He's 6'2". He's a unique profile. You saw yesterday, and I'm not just going off yesterday's game, but if he isolates people, he's phenomenal. Spain couldn't handle him. The right back, Oscar, gets dragged for Pedro Porro because he's been cooked twice in 5 minutes. Pedro Porro comes on, gets cooked, brings him down, yellow card straight away. He is a madman if he isolates defenders. I don't think even when Martinelli's 1v1 with a fullback, I feel like he's going to rip this fullback to bits. I don't. I think, well, he might, but I feel like when Leao gets the ball, you're in trouble. He panics defenders. I want our left-hand side of our team to cause chaos against teams, because that will actually free up Saka a little bit more on the right-hand side as well. I think at the moment, people are like, double up on Saka. You can deal with Martinelli or Trossard if they're on the left. They're decent players, but I want somebody that frightens the opposition. When we played against PSG, Kvara on one side, Doué on the other, it's a problem. And then Dembele in the middle, who's probably going to win Ballon d'Or. And don't get me wrong, Nico Williams' first half was good as well. He caused problems, but I just think Leao's even more ferocious. Apparently, Berta has got him on his list, so you never know, but Bayern Munich are being heavily linked with him. I think his game can go up another level as well. But we'll see. Ghost Steel said, when is Arsenal going to sign a player? Where is Zubimendi? It took Chelsea or Liverpool a few days to sign players. Linked with so many, but signed no one. Well, we may have a sign-in very soon. And we spoke about it the weekend. I put a video out about it. I think it was actually quite a balanced video for me. I was actually quite impressed with myself. I thought I'd be flying off the handle at this one, but I stayed quite calm, which I've tried to say to myself. Don't let Arsenal frustrate you. Enjoy your summer. If I'd told you on the final day of the season that we were going to sign Kepa from Chelsea, you'd say, I'm winding you up, or is it April the 1st? But we are signing Kepa from Chelsea. And I put out a quite calm, balanced video. I mean, we're making progress here, people. A year ago, I might have been tearing the shirt like Hulk Hogan, but big caps, you know, big caps to the carpet. Listen, I said it in the video the other day. I always look at a signing as what are the circumstances of that signing. I don't like the fact we're signing another Chelsea player because it's just strange that we keep buying players from Chelsea. However, as a backup goalkeeper for £5 million, I don't think it's a bad signing. When he was at Chelsea and 75 million, I didn't think he was that good because I'm judging him off the price tag. It's 75 million. He was nowhere near a 75 million pound goalkeeper, so he was considered a flop at Chelsea. I think that's a fair point, right? He doesn't get in the Spanish squad now. He's fallen down the pecking order in football. But for £5 million as a backup, I think that is a decent signing. And I don't like signing players that Chelsea don't want. I don't like that mindset of signing a player from a club finishing below us that they don't want. How does that improve us? But we've just had Neto as our backup goalkeeper. He is better than Neto. So it's an upgrade on what we had last season. He kept 9 clean sheets at Bournemouth. I'm not going to be singing and dancing about it, but I always said, and I said in that video, I want Arsenal's money to go on their attack. When we were going to go for Juan Garcia for 30 million, I'm like, we don't need to spend 30 million on a backup goalkeeper. We need to spend little money on a goalkeeper. £5 million, 75 grand a week, smart business. Lawrence, I think you're spot on. I think you can flip this in a year as well. If he gets frustrated, I reckon you could easily get 15 million for him from a Spanish club, just based on his reputation. 2 years ago, he was on loan at Real Madrid. He played 19 games. So, yeah, listen, when that deal was announced, I went on my WhatsApp. They were going for me. Yo, Kepa, laughing emojis, blah, blah, blah. So I get it. People are like, yo, man, come on. But people... We've had Matt Turner, we've had Matt Ryan, we've had Neto, we've had backup goalkeepers that have been nowhere near the level that if you need them for 7-8 games. This is not a bad signing in isolation. It's not exciting, not for 1 minute. But for 5 million, I don't have a problem with it. Arsenal have agreed personal terms with Kepa. He'll join the club and Arsenal have to trigger the £5 million release clause. I called Matt Turner Tina Turner when we signed him, and he certainly didn't work out at Arsenal. Now, Dens, we don't talk about Almunia on this channel. I think moving forward, it makes life easier if we don't mention that Almunia played for Arsenal. I try and put that out of my mind for obvious reasons. Ronaldo scoring a free kick from 40 yards and getting done at his near post twice in a Champions League final. I'm trying to remain calm. I've been looking at holidays over the past couple of days. Birthdays this month. Want to go on holiday. Where are we going to go? Let's chill. Let's relax. Let's get the sunshine. Kepa, try and stay calm. Don't overreact, Curtis. You know, grow up. Show some maturity. Okay, 5 million backup goalkeeper. Good business. But this story, if there's truth in this, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to struggle. Forget the holidays, forget the maturity. There's certain times you just got to say what you feel when you're feeling it, people. And I'm telling you now, if there's truth in this, I will need an extended break. I will go on gardening leave like Edu. Some of you guys might rate him, but we're going to talk. Arsenal being linked with Alejandro Garnacho. Gaston Edul, who has 1 million followers, by the way, and seems to have very good insight into Argentinian football. I don't know, but that's what I've been told. He said there are 2 Premier League teams that have showed an interest in him. Which ones? Chelsea and Arsenal. And bear in mind, Chelsea are about to sign Jamie Gittins. Please. Just please don't. For me. Some of you might disagree. You might think there's a decent player there. For me, this happens. Honestly, the next stream, I might be doing yoga on the stream. Just doing breathing exercises in silence. The next stream, I think I'll go live, plain background, and I'll just be like sitting there doing the Haaland celebration, just breathing. Just breathing for 1 hour. Just trying to figure out what's going on. I'm telling you now, Garnacho, like, in all seriousness, right? He's okay. But Arsenal? No. Don't do this, please. I'm not overreacting here. Am I overreacting? They want over 50 million for Garnacho, please. I can't see this being true. So I'm not going to overreact. But if we sign Garnacho, I'm doing yoga on this channel. A whole 1 hour of yoga. Just to gather myself. It'll take me an hour to deal with it. I don't think we'll sign him. I can't see us, surely. People, let me know. Is there any angle where you could see Arteta going for Garnacho for 50 odd million pound? And this, you're right. This would be for them to go probably get Gyökeres. I don't think we will sign him. I don't think we will sign him. I don't believe that we are. Man said I'm already Garnacho out and we haven't even signed him. You're not overreacting. You've got to look at it nowadays with these guys in the press, right? You know, if you mention Arsenal, it's going to get traction. It's going to get traction. So they know if they just mention Arsenal, this will get loads of views. So I think sometimes these journalists just play on it. I don't think we'll get him. If we did get him, he's not even better than the left wingers that we've got, in my opinion. I don't think he's better than Trossard and Martinelli. I'd rather play Martinelli than Garnacho. I mean, I can't see it happening. I think it's clickbait. I hope it's clickbait. I want it to be clickbait. Go to Chelsea. You said the same about Havertz. It's true. It's true. You know, sometimes you don't think it's real and then they end up signing for you. But I'd rather have Martinelli left wing than Garnacho, man. Surely Arteta knows when you go for a left winger, it's got to be significantly better than what we've got. Gaston is legit when it comes to Argentina, says Sid. Let's see. Yeah, he is being linked with Napoli as well, so hopefully that one happens. But how would you guys feel if we signed Alejandro Garnacho? I just got to take that off the screen just to give myself some space. Do you know what I mean? I don't want that one. If he joins, damn. That'll be crazy. I don't think it will happen. I don't believe it. Why Always Me said, I told you 2 weeks ago. You didn't believe it. I sent in a super chat. Garnacho is a top talent. Do you guys rate Garnacho highly? I don't think he's that good. When Man United are selling a player that has pretty much come through their youth system, right? And he's only... How old is Garnacho? Garnacho is... How old is Garnacho? Garnacho... 21. 21 years of age. If they thought he was that good, they wouldn't be selling him. And they're pushing him out the door. Man United just finished 15th. I'm just looking at his numbers. I've got to cover all 6 goals in 36 games. There's nothing there. We don't need to be doing this deal. Seriously. I know I always say if a player joins, we got to try and hope they do well, but there's no basis that Arsenal need to do this deal. It's over 50 million quid. His numbers are low. United are pushing him out the door. Would they get caught up in the fact that he's 20 and no, I just can't see it. I think it's made up. I don't think Arsenal will go for him. I don't think Arsenal will go for him. I hope they don't go for him as well, to be honest. One winger that we could be going for, though, people. I think he would be considered homegrown, because of the age he was at United. One player we could be going for is Leroy Sane. Article came out yesterday of the Turkish media because he's been offered, apparently, to Fenerbahce have offered him a massive contract, Jose Mourinho. But the rumour coming out of Turkey last night was Arsenal are expected to make a formal offer for Bayern Munich winger Leroy Sane today, as per multiple reports in the media over the last 24 hours. And how do you feel about this one? There was a story that came out last night saying that Arteta sees Nwaneri more as an Odegaard backup than a Saka backup. So they still believe that Nwaneri's future will be in a central attacking role rather than a right-hand side attacking role. Even though I kind of think Nwaneri's put in better performances on the right this season than central. But it was saying that basically Mikel Arteta still wants a player that is capable of playing on both wings, which is why Arsenal apparently were interested in Bryan Mbeumo. He obviously chose Manchester United, guaranteed first-team football on the right. I think Mbeumo knew with Saka playing for Arsenal, he wasn't going to get in the team, which is why he obviously went to United. If it's Garnacho or Sane, who would you pick? I take Leroy Sane. Real talk, over Garnacho. He's a free. You don't have to play him every week. He can play on both wings. Garnacho's going to cost you over £50 million. And it's a Man United reject. I'd rather take Leroy. But to be honest, I'd rather not get any of them. I think we're capable at this stage in the process of getting better. Getting somebody who's on the up. Breaking, Arsenal have made a written offer to Leroy Sane, who prefers Arsenal this summer, but Fenerbahce currently offer him more. Arsenal would need to improve their contract offer. As I said, Leroy Sane's girlfriend, she moved back to London from Germany with his child, and apparently he's very keen on moving back to England, so that would obviously suit him, but apparently Fenerbahce have offered him crazy money. Yeah, caught offside, saying Arsenal have now made the offer. He prefers the move to Arsenal due to location and Arteta being his former coach. But the Fenerbahce deal is way higher than the Arsenal offer. I wonder how much Arsenal have offered him. Apparently he's on £220,000 a week. It says, this is coming out of Germany. Leroy Sane currently has 4 offers on the table. Fenerbahce have offered him the biggest contract. Bayern Munich still have a contract extension on the table that he has rejected, but Bayern have left the deal there for him. Galatasaray are trying to negotiate, but are not sure what is happening with Victor Osimhen and how much wages he would occupy if he signs for them. Arsenal are the latest club to offer, but the wages are too low. But this report says, if Arsenal up their offer to a level that Sane is satisfied with, it is believed he would join Arsenal over the other 3 clubs. Interesting. Obviously, he will be out of contract, so that deal is not dictated by the transfer window. You could sign him at any time, really, but it's interesting. Would you guys take Leroy Sane on a free? I would love to see Rodrigo or Leao for me. I would like to see Arsenal sign a left winger that's on the up, that's getting better and better, that you feel is capable of getting better. I feel like with Sane, he's probably hit his peak. It's leveled off. He's slightly on the decline now. He does still have pace. If we were signing Sane and then we were still... Let's say we signed Leroy Sane and then we still went and got a Rodrigo, a Leao, someone like that. I would take him. As squad depth, I think he'd be a brilliant option. Imagine having Sane and Saka on the right and you've got Nwaneri and Odegaard and you've got Rodrigo and Martinelli, for example. That as a front line behind the striker would be great options. I wouldn't mind it under those circumstances. But if you're signing him as the winger of the summer, like that is the left winger, then I just think you're aiming lower than we can get a player better than that at this stage in his career. Leroy Sane at Manchester City was incredible. He was incredible. So for me, it depends what level you're signing him at. If that's your number one winger signing of the summer, I think you could have done better than that. But if you're bringing him in as a squad player, I don't mind that because we're short of squad depth. We're bringing on Raheem Sterling. We're bringing on players that are struggling to impact the game. So imagine bringing on Sane and Martinelli for impact late on in the game. It would be all right, but his wages are very high, very, very high. As a squad player, I take him as a starting every week winger. I think we could do better. So let's see what happens. Let's see. It's going to be a long summer, which is why I'm trying to stay patient. Even when we're linked to players, I'm like, okay, you just don't know. You just don't know, man. I've had a few interesting conversations in the last couple of days, and when it comes to these transfers, most of the time, the stuff that's being written by the press, half of it isn't true. You know, they're just linking you with players. And sometimes it's agents. Sometimes an agent is trying... Let's say you're Leroy Sané's agent. You throw all over the media that Arsenal are trying to sign Leroy Sané. It makes other people think, well, I tell you what, if Arsenal want him, he must still be good. You know, we could do with a winger. Maybe we'll take him. Before you know it, another club ends up buying him and you didn't even want him. Do you know what I mean? So they're very smart, these agents, man. They can use the media to drip feed information and make clubs react to situations. But we'll see what happens with that. Leroy Sané, free agent. Apparently Arsenal have offered him a contract. So, listen, as I said, for me, I would take Sané on a free as a squad player. I just wouldn't want to see him bought in as like our main winger signing. So we'll see what happens with that one, people. Big up to everyone locked in, man. 2,700 of you locked in. Hope you're well on this Monday. There's a lot of links. There's a lot of stories. There's nothing set in stone at the moment. Yeah, big up to everyone. Obviously, I dropped that video this morning with the RB Leipzig fan. Big up to him, Justin from Australia. He watches all the Leipzig games. I had a good conversation with him. Told us about the strengths, the weaknesses, how we may have to adapt to him if we sign him, how he have to adapt to us. So if you haven't, make sure you watch that video at the end of this stream, people. Gave some good insight, man, into his mindset. He was sort of saying that, look, I think Sesko will thrive being the main man. And he was sort of saying at Leipzig at times they favoured a Openda over him, and he's had to kind of go and watch it. There's a lot of good insight there, and we'll see what happens with that. Big up, enter the Bruce, smash the like button. Let's get to 100k, man. Let's get there. Sesko the new Zlatan? Well, I hope so, but got a long way to go to get to that point. Big up the community, says Hansel. One love, big up. As a United fan, Nacho will do magic for you, LOL. Yeah, the only magic I want him to do is disappear from our links of signing for us. Owen said, you're the only football YouTuber I watch now. Funny, original, close with the community and not cringe. The rest are NPCs, never change for the crowd, mate. Listen, I want to say, first of all, they are good YouTubers out there, so I'm not going to disrespect. There are lots of good content creators, but I appreciate the compliment, man. Big up yourself, Owen. And Alberto said, doing this puts an end to Rodrigo. Listen, Rodrigo, we've heard that there will be a meeting this week with Real Madrid. We'll get a clearer picture of what's happening with Rodrigo moving forward. I think if it comes out that he's leaving, I think Arsenal go for him. Whether they get him or not is a different thing. But I think they will go for him. They know how good he is, man. But it's whether they allow him to go or not. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, it's going to be all transfer rumours. So it's all linked with and interested in and all that. But Mohamed Kudus Arsenal are considering a move for Mohamed Kudus. Newcastle and Chelsea are also interested. Kudus wants to stay in Europe, preferably in the Premier League. This is from ex-West Ham United employee who, I've got to be honest, he was very good when it came to Arsenal signing Declan Rice, right? He has a lot of inside information about West Ham. Chelsea had an offer rejected for Kudus last week. They offered, who was it? They offered 2 players plus cash. I think it was Sanchez, the goalkeeper, and Dewsbury Hall, and they rejected it. Apparently, they want 80 million euros, which is about 67 million pounds. But apparently, Arsenal are willing to pay about 50 million pounds for him. Now, we know for a fact that Arsenal wanted to sign him from Ajax the year that we signed Havertz and Rice and Timber. We ran out of money, which is why we never signed David Raya that season on a permanent. We got him on loan, and we obviously paid the money the next season. Did I say Dewsbury Hall? Dewsbury Hall. Rubbish player, by the way. I don't know why Chelsea bought him. They've basically been trying to sell him since they bought him. He was good at Leicester, to be fair. It's a bit harsh. Probably not Chelsea level. Yeah, we ran out of money that summer, which again, Havertz. If we hadn't bought Havertz, we could have bought Kudus and still had money left over, but we were done. So we know that Arteta has liked him before, right? Which I suppose the question would be, can he play on the left? We need a left winger. He's a right winger. Can he play on the left? I like Kudus. I think a year ago, everybody would have wanted him. Now, people are a little bit more unsure. Like a friend of mine who follows West Ham, he says to me all the time, I can't understand why no one's buying Jarrod Bowen. Not that he wants him to leave, but he says, I can't understand the sort of snobbery around Jarrod Bowen. He was like, when you look at it, there's a lot. We talk about Premier League tax. English players cost more, but English players aren't as glamorous. We love signing foreign players, Brazilians and Argentinians and Spanish players. And he says, why is no one going in for Jarrod Bowen? I mean, West Ham have been terrible this season. Jarrod Bowen's got 13 goals and 8 assists, 21 goal contributions. The season before, he got 16 goals and 6 assists, 22 goal contributions. I think with Jarrod Bowen, maybe it's because he's 28 years of age, and you know these clubs want players mid-20s and early 20s now, so maybe they view... Man said he's too loyal to Danny Dyer. Probably. Bowen's on fire. I won't sing the rest of the song. If you know it, you know it. I mean, looking at Kudus, man, 5 goals this year in 32 games. That's not a great season. And when I've watched West Ham this season, he hasn't looked as good. Maybe he's just struggled because West Ham have struggled. But yeah, that's not a good season. I don't think you should be paying 80 million for him. I think if you go to West Ham, it needs to be a reduced price. But Chelsea apparently are still in negotiations with West Ham to get a deal done. So would you bring him to Arsenal? Can he play on that left? Kudus gets 10 goals for beefing Spurs. I hear you. The way he was going mad against them, that makes it all worth it. I think he'd cook at Arsenal. I think he'd do bits in our team because of how dynamic and direct he is, but it's just, can he play on the left? I don't think Arsenal will spend 50, 60 million for a guy that can only play on the right when we've got Saka there, you know? Big up Matt, he said Antonio out of West Ham this season puts the hurting on them across the board. Bowen is solid though. I hear you, man. Antonio... I don't know if have you guys seen this Antonio video that he's put out of like his crash and how bad it was and the recovery, man. He's lucky to be alive. He's in the Jamaica squad for the Gold Cup, which is great to see. And you know what, Matt? You make a great point. You make a great point there. Antonio is instrumental to everything that West Ham do. Everything goes through him, which is why they don't sell him, because even though he doesn't score so many goals, he's a menace. And he helps the wingers. And I think Kudus, Antonio and Bowen as a front three with Paqueta in the 10 is a dangerous 4. But I think without that link player, they've struggled. And I think when you look at Arsenal, maybe that's kind of what Arteta's looking at with Sesko, is kind of, he wants a real top left winger. You've got Saka, who's the top right winger. You're hoping Odegaard can get his form back. He played really well against Italy the other day. And then Sesko is the guy that causes problems. Big, holds the ball up, chips in with goals, and does his thing. Sunset San Antonio's cheeks, he's not, bro. He's not. He might be one of them players you look at and you think goal record's not amazing and that, but he's been instrumental in what West Ham have done. They've won a trophy, bro. They've won a European trophy, no matter what we think of it, man. Antonio is probably a West Ham legend, to be honest. I'm telling you now. Leao, false nine, move away from being... A lot of people have said that, Jimmy. Leao could end up being a striker. WizDoc said, was working the night shift at hospital here in the US. One of my doctor colleagues was watching you on his iPad. You've got a global fan base. Hey, big up, man. Big up the doctors and nurses, man, looking after people on the night shift, you know, locked in, man. Information and entertainment people, you know what I mean? When you're on that night shift, you need some inspiration to get you through. Curtis Shaw TV, people. Keep it locked in. Big up the people. And, yo, everybody in America right now, stay safe, man. I'm seeing these videos. I'm seeing all kinds of madness going on with the police and the protests and people just getting grabbed up on the street by police. Stay safe out there, man. America looks wild in certain parts, man. So blessings to everyone locked in. Snake Eye said, Arteta is always looking to sign these players who are washed. If they signed CR7's adopted son, I will know they are not serious about winning. Is the Zubi deal done or not? We need a striker, not a goalkeeper. Listen, the reality is, Snake Eyes, we do need a goalkeeper. It's crazy because we've signed a lot. But we do need a backup goalkeeper because obviously we're not going to get... we're not going to keep Neto. So, but yeah, we need a striker. We need a striker. Man said, see, got doctors watching from their operating rooms. You know what I'm saying? Before that important operation, a bit of information and entertainment, you know? That's how it goes, people. Man is doing heart surgery and you hear Arteta, you fraud. Do you know what? I'm hardly mentioning Arteta at the moment outside of the season. But yeah, somebody that I haven't spoken about from last night. And I want to big up Leigh in the comments, by the way, because he's been very positive about Zubimendi and his quality. I've been a bit 50-50 in the sense of very good on the ball, but not totally convinced. I have to admit, and I never like to judge a player just based off one game. It's not how it works. I've seen Adama Traore look like a world beater. The next week, he looks like the turkey greased up on Christmas Day. You know, so it's always risky to watch one game. I'm going to keep it 100, people. I liked the performance from Zubimendi yesterday. I think he looked very, very good. Very good. And that's a good midfield he was playing against. Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva and Vitinha. I said, yo, Subby's calm on the ball. Calm. I can say, like, the way Arsenal play football, I completely understand why Arteta wants Zubimendi. My only question, my only slight question is, can you translate that into the Premier League? International football is very different to the Prem. Very different. The Prem is direct. It's physical. It's aggressive. You don't get as much time on the ball. They pressure a lot quicker. Defensively, can he deal with a powerful attacking midfielder? A Morgan Rogers or an Eze driving at him? Does he have that physical presence? They're the question marks. However, in terms of quality on the ball, class player. Class player. There was obviously rumours going around that Real Madrid are trying to hijack it, blah, blah, blah. But Fabrizio Romano said last night, I've been told that Zubimendi is set to join Arsenal. He's obviously already said, here we go, on the deal. There's a lot of clickbait that Real Madrid are looking to hijack. I look at it like this, people. When Real Madrid want to hijack, it usually happens. Let's be real. Zubimendi, Spanish international. If Real Madrid were in for him, listen, I'm not saying he would. Maybe he wants a different experience and get out of Spain. But what I'm saying is, if Real Madrid really wanted him, the reality is they would probably get him. That's the reality of the situation. I don't think they are. For some reason, because the deal's been delayed, everyone is now assuming Real Madrid are trying to hijack. The story came out a few weeks ago that Xabi Alonso is very keen on bringing him. But the story went on to say that Real Madrid feel they don't need him. They've got Tchouaméni in the sixth role. They're not looking for a defensive midfielder. So I feel like if Real Madrid wanted Zubimendi, Zubimendi would probably already be a Real Madrid player, you know? So I'm not, I think he's going to sign for Arsenal. I think that story that came out is probably the truth, that they're saying that Sociedad don't want the deal to go through until the 1st of July, so that it's on the next financial year. Obviously, a big sale for them on the 1st of July will give them more freedom to spend money after the 1st of July for next season, where if it goes through before the end of the month, it balances this season's book. So looking at his quality on the ball yesterday, you're thinking, if Rice now goes and perfects that box-to-box role, and Zubimendi's in the six, just bossing the game, if we can get Odegaard cooking again, we might be onto something. There's a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes, though. That's the thing. You know, you need Zubimendi to adapt to the Prem, you need Rice to adapt to that attacking role, and you need Odegaard to get back into form. So a lot of things need to happen there. But I can see the vision. I can see the vision. Zubimendi was the best. Somebody asked a question yesterday. It was a great question. They said, who's the best midfielder on the pitch at the start of the game? I said Pedri. A lot of people said Vitinha. Obviously had an unbelievable season. But Zubimendi was one of the best players on the pitch yesterday. So, yeah. But Pedri, for me, is just absolutely outstanding. But I think Zubimendi gets done. I don't think there's any reason to panic. I think he ends up at Arsenal. But it probably doesn't happen until the start of July, which is frustrating. And the longer it takes, you're going to see Real Madrid stories. But I think we just got to be patient with that one. Big up to everyone locked in. 3,000 of you in the chat. Really appreciate it. Great numbers on this Monday. Considering there's a lot of stories to talk about, but nothing has happened as yet. We haven't actually signed anybody yet. It's great to see these numbers without, imagine if we get a big story, lift the whole community, the whole fan base, if we signed a top player that excited everyone. So I hope we get that. And the good thing about football is, no matter how frustrated you are about the previous season, the transfer window gives you a lot of hope and optimism. Now, a lot of the time, you end the window not feeling much better if they don't get the players that you want. But at the moment, we do have that hope. Tayeb said, we really need a winger, Big C, someone like Rodrigo or Leao. Definitely, man. We need a game changer. Doctor said, does the lack of urgency bother you? It does. The most important thing is getting the right players, right? You can come out the traps flying, sign 3 players, and they're not good. So buying them quickly isn't always the right thing. But this has been an Arsenal thing for a long time. We drag deals out. I had a conversation with an agent who works in the Premier League a couple of years ago. I was in a meeting actually with somebody else, and I was just listening in. And he said Arsenal are notoriously difficult to deal with when it comes to transfers. And I said, what's the problem? Arsenal have got a lot of money. And he said they lowball. They will, if a player's 50 million, they'll come in way below. They're always trying to get a good deal, which on one hand, cool, you're trying to save money. I understand it's business. It's millions of pounds. But what they tend to do is drag deals out. We've actually missed out on deals through doing that. So it's also risky as well. if the offers are too low. So I just want them to be a bit more decisive. We want that player. Yeah, we'll offer you a bit less than he's available for, but we're gonna get this deal done. Someone tweeted, if you watch the game, you don't see Zubimendi. If you watch Zubimendi, you see the game. Yeah, those tweets, I get they're clever. They're clever tweets. He was class yesterday. I will be doing some watch-alongs for the Club World Cup. Obviously, I think it starts at the end of this week, which is crazy. I'm actually very happy that Arsenal aren't in the Club World Cup because I just think, going to that tournament, having a number of games, playing games in, Miami and the heat, and I'm happy that our team is going to get a good break. I think your Odegaard, your Sakas, your Declan Rice, I think those, your Timbers, I think they need go on holiday, 5-6 weeks, relax, come back fully refreshed. As I said, last year on the tour, we felt very disjointed. Half our team wasn't there. No new signings had been made. I thought, we're going into this season on the back foot, where previous seasons, right, when we went on tour, everyone was there. We'd sign Rice, we'd sign Timber, and I thought, we're moving here. I think it's important that you get your deals done so that the players are on tour. So because we don't have a summer tournament this year, I'm hoping everyone's there, get some new signings in, and we move forward from there. Thomas Partey, people, very interesting. Arteta said in his press conference towards the end of the season that he wanted this to be tied up quickly, and we're now a couple of weeks post-season and nothing has happened. Ryan Taylor saying today, Arsenal made Thomas Partey what they considered to be a competitive contract offer around 10 days ago. But at this moment in time, there is still no agreement between the parties and the situation remains open. Partey wants to stay at Arsenal. However, he is said to be cautious that his next contract could potentially represent his last big deal, and his inner circle want to see his importance to the team reflected within the terms proposed. So at the moment, looks as if there's still a little bit of negotiating to go on between Partey and Arsenal. Some of the stories that we've seen is that Arsenal want to reduce the wage and make it more incentive based. So based on how many games we play and win, maybe they feel there's a risk of keeping him on 200 grand plus and a risk of injury and things like that. So I think they're probably not too far away from each other, but they just need to meet somewhere in the middle and get the deal done. Also, Zubimendi is a player that's been in high demand. And I think one of the first questions, if I was Zubimendi's agent, one of the first questions I would ask Arteta is, you've got Partey. What is going to happen to Zubimendi? Are they going to say to Zubimendi, you're the number one choice, you're going to play? Or are they going to say, you and Partey have to compete? I reckon Zubimendi would have guarantees of football. So maybe Partey will be considered a squad player. He's being linked with Barcelona, Juventus. Thomas Partey he turns 32 this week. So maybe Arsenal are reluctant to give him a 2-year deal. 200 grand a week, he would still be 34 picking up 200 grand a week. They may see that as a risk. So it's interesting. They're obviously still negotiating, but let's see what happens. I think ideally Partey and Zubimendi would give us brilliant options in that defensive midfield role. And then you've got Rice as the box-to-box. You've then got Odegaard attacking midfield. I would like to see another attacking midfielder possibly just for competition and squad depth. But yeah, man. Forever Gunner said, Curtis, stream highlights. Didn't notice. Zubi, next minute, Nari is a baller. Nico is winding me up now. Nari is a demon. Leao is not consistent enough. Next minute, he's a 1v1 demon. It's the beauty of football, my friend. It's the beauty of football, right? Zubi was class. And Leao, he's a monster 1v1. I'm telling you, that guy is a problem. Eze, Rogers, and Xavi Simons. Well, actually, Justin, who came on and did the show talking about Sesko, he was saying that Xavi Simons is available, that they're willing to sell him as well. He wants Champions League football, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Zach said, for me, Partey still starts the season at DM. He's the best DM in the world at the moment. Wow. I mean, it's not outrageous to say that because the best DM in the world is Rodri. That's why he won the Ballon d'Or and he's been injured. So that means it's somebody else. After Rodri, who is the best defensive midfielder in the world? That's a fair question. I don't know if... I mean, Vitinha's probably a bit more advanced. He would probably say João Neves is the more defensive one. So I don't know. Tchouaméni, I mean, there aren't that many great DMs in football at the moment. So it's not a wild statement. Is Vitinha a DM? I thought he was more centre mid, really. Caicedo's box to box. He is very good, though. But yeah, let's see. Adam Wharton would be a shrewd buy. They want big money, Crystal Palace. Olu said I'd take Rodgers over Simmons. I would. I'd take Eze over Simmons as well, to be honest. I do rate Xavi Simons, but I like Eze and Rodgers, man. Most Wanted said, we know the Ballon d'Or is rigged. When's the last time a black person won it? Who's the last black player to win the Ballon d'Or? Most Wanted. Like, I'm genuinely asking, who would it have been? Who would it have been? Ronaldinho, maybe? I couldn't tell you. Ronaldo and Messi won it for about 15 years, didn't they, between them? It's got to be Ronaldinho, Ballon d'Or, maybe. George Weah, is it that long? Can't be. Surely, didn't Ronaldinho and R9 Ronaldo and them man win it? It's got to be Dino, hasn't it? Or was that World Player of the Year that they was winning, which is obviously a different award, right? I thought Ronaldinho would have been the last player. Ronaldinho, Ballon d'Or. When did he win it? He must have won the Ballon d'Or. Ronaldinho. How many Ballon d'Ors? Domination. He also won the Ballon d'Or. He has won it. See, they had different awards back then, didn't they? They used to do World Player of the Year, and they sort of changed it up. Yeah, Ronaldinho won it, 2005. Yeah, he did win it. Yeah, Dino's different, man. He had to win it, man. That's one of the goats, man. That's one of the real goats. Everybody loved Ronaldinho. Anyway, let's move on. Interesting comments from David Ornstein on the Athletic podcast, which is interesting because he usually has info when it comes to Arsenal. He said Arsenal are focusing on a new number 9. I mean, it's not rocket science. He said whether it's going to be Sesko or Gyökeres, they also want a top quality wide player, ideally on the left-hand side, but they would also like some backup for Saka on the right. That's why they targeted Mbeumo, which is interesting. In midfield, they need to renew Partey or let him go. And if he goes, they're going to have to replace him. They would like a centre-half. They were in for Howson, but didn't manage to get him. So watch this space on that. That's interesting. I mean, and a lot of people were assuming that Nwaneri was Saka's backup on the right, but then these articles are saying that Nwaneri is seen as a central attacking midfielder. And that Arsenal are still looking for somebody to play on the right, which is why they wanted Mbeumo, but Mbeumo didn't want to join as a backup player. So, yeah. That is interesting. That somebody just nailed it, you know. They said, oh, Ornstein's been so quiet on Arsenal. It's crazy. Like Fabrizio's putting things out. Other guys are putting things out. But Ornstein ain't saying nothing. Maybe he knows something and he's just, you know, waiting to drop that bomber. Or maybe he's not getting the information anymore or this summer. Terry said he would love us to get Garnacho. He thinks he's quality. I just don't think he's Arsenal level for where we want to go at the moment, you know. ChatGPT said it was George Weah in 95, but then I told them it was Ronaldinho and they changed the answer. Damn AI. You know what I'm saying, man? Sometimes just Google it, you know? Maybe Berta has ran him out of the club. Maybe. You never know. It changes, innit? John Cross was the mouthpiece under Wenger, and then when Wenger left, he wasn't. Garnacho, for me, wouldn't be the guy I would be going for. Cunha, Gyökeres, and Buemo, that would be scary. Yeah, United being heavily linked with Gyökeres, but, you know, we got to focus on ourselves, man. We got to bring in some real quality. There's players out there available. There's players. Osimhen's rejected Al Hilal. He's available on the market. Gyökeres is available. Sesko's available. Arsenal can go and get a striker. Leao's available, 70 million. Rodrigo will find out this week if he's available. Lookman has a release clause at 60 million. Eze's got a release clause at 60 million. There are players on the market available that Arsenal can bring in that will improve this team significantly. Good players, release clauses. You don't even have to negotiate with the club. Just deal with the wages with the player. So I think every Arsenal fan has a right to expect Arsenal to do some good business this summer because quality players are available. Players that would join us happily. Eze would love to come to Arsenal. Boyhood Arsenal fan. I think Leao would love to come to Arsenal. Leao's made quotes before saying how he enjoys watching Arsenal. And there's been stories that Berta has targeted him. So Osimhen, we know his agent had a meeting with Edu. So there's been interest there before. There's players there that would improve us, that would help us moving forward. Let's just hope that we get one of these deals done. Well, more than one. We're going to need 3 or 4. Eze was released by Arsenal. Leao plays like an Arsenal player. Listen, like I said, I would like Leao. I think he's exciting. I know Bayern Munich want him, but I think we could get him over Bayern Munich. He's spoken a lot of times about the Premier League. I think the Premier League would suit him. Bayern are very good, but they've got a lot of wingers. They've got Elise, they've got Coman, they've got Sane, they've got Gnabry. You know, there's a lot of competition there for him. Rodrigo, Sesko, Saka, Kudus, Max Dowman, Waneri, Havertz, Trossard, attacking players. I wonder if Max Dowman will be involved next season with the first team. Man City have signed 3 players today, while Arsenal are not moving the same. I think with them, they were rushing to get them done for the Club World Cup, which starts at the end of this week. Arsenal are going to take their time, which is frustrating, but I'd rather take longer to get the right player than quickly get the wrong player. What's frustrating is when they take longer and they get the wrong player. That's what we don't want to see, you know? But yeah, listen, people, big up to everyone locked in. I'm going to round up there. Just over 3,000 of you in the chat. Really appreciate your support. I'm actually going to do a watch-along tomorrow. I'm going to do England against Senegal at the City Ground, actually, in Nottingham. So anyone from my home city, I think there are tickets available. I know a few people who are going. So we'll do a watch along for that. I'll be live in the daytime as well. Big up to everyone locked in. Hope you're well. Who's live? Troops is live. I'll redirect to Troops. Let's redirect to Troops. Where is he? Troops. Search videos. And make sure you go back and watch that video that I've done that came out this morning. Or all you need to know about Benjamin Sesko. We got a Leipzig fan on. He gave us some insight into him and his qualities and his weaknesses in case we do get him. You know, it's always good to know a little bit more about players that we're being linked with. Big up to everyone. Enjoy your Monday, and I will see you all tomorrow.